Hello students, today we are going to study about chapter 15, Air Around Us. So, as you can see that it's the topic Air Around Us. So, you have learned about air a lot of time in your previous classes. So, let's have a small recap that if you just hold your hand in front of your mouth and breathe in deeply and then breathe out towards your fingers, do you feel something? Just do it. If you'll do it, you will feel something in your finger, right? So, what makes you feel your finger hot when you are breathing out? That is exactly the air which you are taking in. Then the answer is air, right? So, whatever you are just throwing out of your throughout your mouth, that is air. So, we cannot see air, but we can feel its presence. So moving air or the blowing air is called wind, right? Now let's have some properties of air, right? So there are few properties which is written over here that air is transparent. Air is mostly transparent as you can see, that's why we are able to see the things, right? You are sitting in your room for example and you are just looking towards everything in your room. How you are able to see those things? Because air is transparent. If air would be of any color, then you would not be able to see the things around, right? So air is transparent. This is the first property. Then we have air has no smell, right? The air is not having any smell. When you are sitting in your room, are you able to smell something? No. Yeah, if you put something which is smelly or it's not in good smell or it's a bad smell, then you can actually smell that. And if there is some perfume you have just sprayed it in the room or room freshener, then also you can smell it. It's just because of the air present in your room, right? So basically the normal air has no smell. Then we have air has no color. The air do not have any color, that's why it is transparent, right? Then air occupies space, right? We are going to discuss a small activity on this to understand that how air occupies space. Then we have air has weight, right? These kind of activities you have already done, right? And then air exerts pressure. What is air exerts pressure means? वो किसी चीज को दबाता है. Pressure means दबाना, right? So air helps to exert pressure. It applies pressure on something. You just do a small activity at your home, right? आप ये भी कर सकते हैं that you just take a balloon, right? And then you take a balloon which is not inflated. Inflated means जो आपने नहीं फुलाया. एक फुलाने वाला balloon लीजिए और एक बिना फुलाने वाला. आप उसको कोशिश कीजिए. You just tie it in the thread and just tie it like a beam balance. आप लोगों ने ये क्लास 5th में एक्टिविटी की होगी, right? So you will see that the balloon which is inflated जो आपने भरा हुआ है वो एक तरफ झुक जाएगा. So that means the air has weight, right? And air exert pressure is basically when you feel that something is coming on you. For example, when you are standing on a seesaw or when the water is touching your feet, जब बहुत जोर से लहरें आती हैं तो आपको फील होता है that you will fall down, right? So that is the property of air, that air exert pressure. जैसे पानी आता है तो आपको एक फीलिंग आती है कि आप गिर जाओगे, राइट? बिकॉज इट इज exerting a pressure on you. The same thing happens with air, right? For example, if you are flying in the air, in the aeroplane or in the planes, so आपने बहुत सारी मूवीज में देखा होगा कि अगर हमने प्लेन को ऑन मतलब उसका जो डोर है उसे खोल दिया, so what will happen, right? बहुत जोर से हवा आती है ना? You have seen so many pictures like these. So that is air exerting pressure. Fine. So these are the properties of air. Basically, these are the 6 properties which we have heard over here, which we have learnt over here, right? Now let's have another thing, which is an experiment on air occupies space. So let's have a activity on this.
Air is present everywhere and it occupies space. In this experiment, we will learn that air is present everywhere and it occupies space. Take a tub and half fill it with water. Now take an empty bottle. Dip the bottle upside down into the tub filled with water. We observe that the water does not enter the bottle. Now tilt the bottle. You will see bubbles coming out of the bottle. There are air bubbles coming out of the bottle. The air escapes out of the bottle, and so water could enter into the bottle. Hence, we conclude that the bottle was not actually empty. It was filled with air. On tilting the bottle, air escapes out and makes room for water to enter in the bottle.
Right. So this is a small activity which we did. As you can see that whatever is just kept in your room, आप कोई भी खाली bottle ले लीजिए, the air is already inside it. Right? आप एक room में बैठे हैं तो air is already filled in that room. That's why you are able to breathe. Correct? So the same thing happens in the bottle which is empty. आप इसको घर पे कर सकते हैं. It's a very easy experiment. Right? You need to just tilt your bottle and dip it inside the tub which is full with water. The water will not enter unless and until you are tilting that bottle. And these bubbles signifies that the air was inside it. That's why it is coming out in the form of water, right? So it's coming out in the form of bubbles. I'm sorry, right? So this is the air which is coming out in the form of bubbles. So this shows that air occupies space, right? So I hope you have understood this activity. Let's see this again. PPT presentation. Now the next topic is that what is atmosphere, right? You have already heard about this, that what is atmosphere, right? It's like a blanket of air that surrounds the earth, and this is known as atmosphere. Our earth is surrounded with a small blanket of air, right? It is having a layer of air that is known as atmosphere. The atmosphere extends to the height of about 300 kilometers above the earth's surface. अर्थ सरफेस से 300 किलोमीटर्स तक हमारी एटमॉस्फेयर होती है. And as we go up, the atmosphere's amount decreases. So the amount of air also decreases. That's why the person who are going to the mountainer hills, they need oxygen cylinder. Why? Because whenever they go up, the atmosphere decreases. The layer of the atmosphere gets thinner, right? So they are not able to get the air. So that's why they need what? They need oxygen. Fine. So this atmosphere is very important for us, because if this atmosphere is not here, we are not able to get the oxygen which we require and the carbon dioxide which plants require to make food, right? And this atmosphere is one of the quality which you have learned, that in our solar system, the earth is the only planet which is having life, and one of the major reason is because of the atmosphere. Correct? And because of the correct atmosphere, we are able to live in this earth, right? So I hope you have understood these few points of air around us chapter. We will continue in the next video about the rest of the chapter. Thank you so much for listening.